And good morning, golfing world. Welcome to Monday Morning Golf Wrap here at TGD. And with me today, of course, HR3. Good to see you, buddy.
Well, you sound so excited for me to be here. Thanks.
I'm excited about our special guest. I'm glad to see you upright. That's all. It's another day for you.
I mean, really.
I'll leave. You can do this with him.
Oh, me. Jimmy, welcome to the program.
George, how's it going, guys?
Going good.
Everything's
Nice to have
going
you.
well. Of course, Jimmy Biggs, director of golf at Crow Creek Golf Club. It's always good to have Jimmy in. He does so many shows now. He's become a regular.
Well, he's becoming the consigliere, I guess, instead of the godfather.
Consigliere.
But I'll put it to you this way.
Spell
Hey,
it.
like
Wow.
I was telling you before we went on the air, we got to give some props to Heather. She was pumping you up pretty good.
Absolutely.
As far as Crow
Thank
Creek
you,
The other night at dinner. So
Thank you, Miss Heather Royer.
big group of folks
Yeah.
sitting next to us, and she was pushing. Yep, Crow Creek, blah blah blah.
It's
so.
easy to pump Crow.
What was that? What was that
hard.
Good
word?
golf course, and like the guy,
Consigliere.
Consigliere.
Yeah.
Consigliere.
We need to post that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, we need to learn how to spell it first.
I need a definition too.
Spell check, maybe I'll catch it.
it's
like
the
the confidant, the
It's
right-hand
the
man
right
of the
hand man to the
Godfather.
Godfather. I mean, come on. Have you never watched the
Consigliere.
movies?
Oh, yeah. Okay. No.
He ain't the right-hand man to the Godfather. He's the boss.
Yeah, well,
I
I just
do what
thought I came
Bigelow
up with
tells
something
us.
unique and different.
You did.
and
You did.
The fact that I stumped Jeff Gilder is,
You did. You stumped him.
You stumped him.
is impressive.
Let's put that on trivia night.
All right, guys. You stumped Jeff. There's a first.
Yep.
And there was a lot of other firsts this weekend too in the
Yeah.
in the world of golf.
Yep.
Lydia Ko wins her first tournament as an 18-year-old. How about that?
Yep.
She's an old hag now. I mean, that's it. She's done.
She turned
It's
18
time to
what?
retire.
Was it
Last Friday.
Friday?
I don't think it's going to be her last win as an 18-year-old either.
No.
She's starting
No.
to get a little age on her though.
Yeah, she is.
I tell you what.
I mean, when you're talking 24-year-olds in the field that they're the legends,
Yeah.
24, come on. And then Brooks Henderson. What about that young lady, 17 years old?
that little girl's going to be a good one. She's.
Yep.
I tell you what, she hits it a long way. You know, swings not bad, a little long, but I mean, the girl hits it good.
Hits it a mile.
And Morgan Pressel back up there. I mean, she hit some quality golf shots.
I like
mean,
seeing Morgan play well.
She looked good swinging at it. I mean, it was nice to see.
Morgan looks good doing anything.
Good point.
Oh, here we go. See, I was going to keep it straight.
Tried to go
right
there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. I got to bring a Zara Munoz into it now. So,
And we're back off the cart path.
yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Morgan Pressel, like you said, striking the ball very well, but you could see it in her putter. And you could see she was questioning some reads. And the greens, by the way, that golf course they played, championship quality golf course.
Oh, no question about it.
That was giving them everything that they wanted and a little bit more, especially when the wind kicked up.
Absolutely.
Like Saturday. And, it was
Still a little cool up there, too. Everyone wearing jackets and turtlenecks and
kind of
hoodies and
a what we may see this week at the WGC Cadillac match
Yeah,
play
Sure.
at Harding Park.
Harding Park.
I mean,
yeah.
if you're in San Francisco, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it could be snowing, raining, sleeting sideways, or it could be 80 and perfect.
Yeah, wait
But,
10
yeah.
minutes, it'll change.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly,
The
it's
fog
like-
rolls in, drops 30 degrees.
Playing golf in San Francisco is like playing in Scotland or England or Ireland. You know, you better be able to change clothes about every 30 steps. I mean, that's kind of the way it is.
And that's a good remark there, Hugh, because the only difference really between Scotland, Ireland, and maybe San Francisco is San Francisco is just going to play softer.
Yeah.
And where Ireland and Scotland's probably going to, even though they may get a lot of moisture, it's still going to play toward the harder side,
Sure.
the firmer side.
Difference in the soil.
So yeah, exactly.
But I mean,
grasses.
it can be raining in San Francisco or in Pebbles, just an hour south of there. I mean, and all of a sudden, you got mud balls and the ball's not rolling anywhere, and it didn't really rain much.
Right.
And then it gets cold, and then it gets windy, and I mean, and this week for the match play at Harding Park, which is by the way is an unbelievable golf course. It'll be very fun to watch.
I've never actually played it, but from what I've seen, I'm like, I want to sign up and go over right now. I mean,
Yeah.
looks awesome.
Very much old school.
Yeah.
Very much tree-lined, tight fairways, back and forth. There's a lot of parallel stuff.
Well, I mean,
But,
they put a lot of money into it to revamp it and get it back to where it should.
Several
be.
years ago.
'Cause it
Sure.
really,
Yeah.
really went down, and it is such a beautiful piece of real estate. It's just unbelievable.
And that's where Lydia Ko actually got her ticket to the LPGA Tour.
Yes.
At Q School.
You
there.
are correct. Yep.
Yep. So she ended up winning the Q School qualifier for the LPGA by 7 shots at the ripe old age of 16.
Well, don't we all? I mean, no. I mean, honestly,
No, at
that girl's
16, I
unreal.
was worried about getting in my Jeep, and where were we going out?
You should have been worried about was your Jeep going to crank.
Oh, it would crank.
well,
it
yeah.
was it was fun.
So Lydia Ko, Morgan Pressel ends up in a playoff. It goes 2 holes. Morgan has about an 8-footer for birdie. She ends up pulling it a little bit. And then, of course, Lydia Ko had set her wedge in there to about 4 feet and straight uphill drains it like there was no issue. She turns around, thanks the crowd. Daddy goes crazy. The swinging skirts all come out and want to congratulate her. She's like, oh, okay, thank you very much. Where's my check? You know, $300,000. Yeah, where do we go next? Is Baskin Robbins down the street, or you know, she's just got, you know, she doesn't. You don't see a lot of emotion. You don't see the fist pump. You don't see the "yay, I won" type thing. It's just, this is work. This is what I do.
Well,
Pretty impressive.
All
guys.
business.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
and I think
for
that's-
17, 18 now,
but that's why she's
pretty
different,
impressive.
George.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why she's different. She is.
she is the #1 player in the world.
That's why
no
she
doubt about
has
it.
that mentality. You know, it's just even keeled and okay, y'all do whatever.
And she expects to play well.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, exactly. Good point, Joe.
Yeah, she plans to play well every time she tees it up. Yeah.
And again, a testament to the golf course itself. A score of 280 ended up being, you know, tied for the lead at the end of regulation play. That's 4 days at 70.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, the golf course proved itself to be quite of championship caliber, no doubt about it.
I agree.
So, I would like to see them, you know, go back there. If it's not the women, even the men. It looked like it could really give anybody and everybody a test of golf. So, again, Lydia Ko ends up winning the Swinging Skirts Classic presented by CTBC. I'll get that out. Brooks Henderson, who we talked about at 17 years old, likewise, finishes 1 shot back at 281. Then you got Shen Fang was up there toward the top of the leaderboard. Amy Yang, Stacy Lewis had a good overall tournament. She ends up kind of dropping the ball a little bit, shoots 73 on the final round. So that moved her back. She was up there at the top of the leaderboard, day 1, day 2. So she then fell back a little bit with a 71-73 over the last 2 days. So, again, Lydia Ko, she just went out and played her game. She played the golf course. She didn't play her competitors. She played what was right there in front of her. And you could tell that she wasn't striking the ball all that great. She just course managed her way into this win. And I think where the others were maybe trying to press it and, you know, pick up a birdie here or there where maybe they should have just laid back and taken par, that's where they kind of fell apart.
And
So-
that happens a great deal. But, you know, and to kind of jump off of this, George, and into, you know, as bad as he played the last 3 holes, and you could tell he was choking, but Lee Westwood winning overseas, finally coming back, winning in the playoff. He made the putt in the playoff, but he missed a bunch of good, you know, 5-6 footers coming down the stretch because he had a 5-shot lead. And ended up having to go into a playoff, and he bogeyed the last 3 holes.
Right.
But who knows? Hopefully this gets him kind of a little kick in the butt to get him ready for the US
Oh,
Open.
it's got to. It's got to. I watched him a good bit on Friday at Augusta and followed him. And being Friday and being Westwood, weren't a lot of other people interested in what he was doing. So you could get up close and personal.
Right.
And there wasn't a lot of confidence
Yeah.
at Augusta. I mean, you could see frustration. I saw him throw a club down and kick it off a tee box on 4. So you saw and felt and sensed a level of frustration. So good to see him pick up another win. Another first was Ashan Wu, who ends up winning, and he wins the event in China. And as a Chinese player, he is the first Chinese player to win a European Tour event in China. How about that? It's never been done before.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. He ends up beating David Howell, who basically had the tournament won, and then ends up making 8 bogeys in his final round to lose the tournament. So,
Not a good way to close.
That's not a good feeling.
no.
No.
So, I mean, Ashun Wu ends up making the turn at even par 34, and then he birdied 10 and then parred out the rest to win. So that kind of tells you a little bit about where Howell went.
Right.
That was due south on an Amtrak, no doubt about it.
I don't even think he's on an Amtrak. I think he's on a moped.
Yeah. Quicksand. You try to
Yeah.
you try to help yourself out, try to get yourself out of a hole, and you just dig deeper and deeper and deeper. There's
That's
nothing you can
insane.
do.
Well, you know, it wasn't like he was hitting it sideways or anything. He was just short-siding himself. He was, you know, he'd have a 10-foot putt, and he would come up a foot short, or he would totally miss. He had one putt on 14 that he just absolutely misread. He missed the hole by 3 feet. And if you're trying to finish out a tournament and win, and you're the leader, you don't miss a putt by 3 feet offline.
No.
So it was you kind of saw the inevitability of the end at that putt, and then Wu, you never saw him because he was just making par. There was no excitement there.
Thinking he wasn't, probably even in it.
Yeah, probably so.
Towards the
now,
end.
of course, he had the biggest crowd. He had the most followers.
Sure.
He had the biggest roars on the golf course. When he would make a par putt, it was like he made eagle. I mean, it was. It was very much like Mickelson or Tiger at Augusta. You know, so, and here's Howell just doing everything he can just to try to put in a 3-footer for par.
I get the same reaction when I make par, George.
I know.
I mean, it's like, holy cow, he made par.
Oh,
get that a lot.
versus birdie?
Yes.
Or
yeah, I mean, the
versus
same.
bogey?
Well, when I make anything,
Oh.
but especially par. Sometimes pars are more exciting than birdies.
Yeah.
There's more poor mouthing going on around here than I understand.
And you notice I haven't done any of it. Have you noticed that?
Yes,
I'm
I was,
cleaning
I
up
was the
act.
first one to throw myself under the bus.
Yeah. So Ashun Wu ends up winning the Volvo 2015 Volvo China Open, and again on his home soil, David Howell finishes in second place at 8 under par. Wu wins at 9. Emilio Grillo, again another good tournament for him. He finishes at 7 under par. Prom Miswat. How about that from Thailand?
I love
at
this
7
when
under
you try to
par.
figure this out.
Alexander Levy at 7 under, and then there's a whole host at 5. So again, it was the golf course played extremely tough. I was amazed at how firm it was. I mean, they were literally hitting balls, much like Pinehurst, hoping to catch the front edge of the green, and the pin would be back 74.
Well, I was going to say,
You
those
know.
are some of the firmest greens we've seen
Inside-
think, this year.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, because they were hitting shots that, they were bouncing 15 to 20 feet
Yep.
every bounce.
Yep.
I mean, you weren't shooting at pins. You were trying to just get it on the green.
Get it
somewhere.
somewhere in the vicinity, right?
And it was commented on during the broadcast that Wu, his shot flight pattern, seemed to be fitting the firmness of the greens because he brought it in left to right, big fade.
Right.
He put a lot of spin on the ball, and so that was helping to hold the balls on the green surfaces versus like Howell coming in from right to left with a little bit of draw. He was ending up hitting a lot of greens and then bouncing over the back and getting into trouble.
Like you said, being short-sighted, sure.
Yeah. So, again, there was a lot of chasing by a couple of the guys, and Wu just went out and played par golf and ends up winning the tournament. So congratulations to him. Let's jump real quick. There was a lot going on this weekend, and I wanted to touch base on the Bass Pro Shop Legends of Golf at Big Cedar Lodge. This was a new event for the Champions Tour, a double type of tournament inside of one. You had the Legends, of course, that had the likes of Jack and Tom and several others out there playing. And then you had the Champions Tour players that had paired up. And on this golf course, folks, is basically they're playing a 9-hole golf course, and it's all par 3s.
Yep.
So, it's kind of a pitch and putt, demonstration here.
They're throwing
It
some
is.
darts.
It is, but you got to understand, this is built, just north of Springfield, Missouri, right there in the Ozark Mountains. You're not going to have too many golf courses.
Gorgeous there.
But
first of all.
what Mr. Morris did up there with the lodge and everything else, it is a beautiful setting for the
And
par
how
3
classy
and this
was
kind
it
of
for
thing.
him yesterday to be on the pontoon boat, taking the ride with
Back
every
and
players
forth. Yep.
from the tee box to the green, thanking them for coming to play, being part of that interaction with them. you could tell he was having a blast. Now, he was freezing his tail off, no doubt about it.
No doubt.
But I found the golf course to be absolutely gorgeous. The lodge and the amenities there, absolutely gorgeous. And the feedback that all the players were given is they had a blast.
Yeah.
They enjoyed the format. They enjoyed the event, and by everything you picked up in their tone, this was something that they were now going to look forward to every year.
Yeah, well, it's kind of playing towards what we're struggling with golf right now, that it takes too long. Well, this is par 3 tournament. You scoot around much quicker in this event than you do with anything else. You're not out there for 7 hours all day.
And taking your expert opinion one step further, this also proves that you can have exciting golf tournament and get the players excited, and you don't have to have 7,500 yards.
Bingo.
Well, I agree with you there, but also the fact that a lot of these guys hunt and fish, and good and well they got some good breaks from Mr. Morrison Bass Pro Shop, so that helps them enjoy that a little more, plus the amenities and the food. So, yeah, you're right.
Now, considering how many par 3s were played, how many shots were taken at par 3s, and we had one hole-in-one. One.
Yeah.
For the whole event. There was one. Joe Durant.
There wasn't two?
Nope, there was one.
Bryant didn't make one?
Don't believe so. Unless he made it after Joe.
On number 17?
Unless he made it after Joe. But Durant made one on 12, and that's what really put him and Andre over the top and separated them by 2 for them to end up with the win. Check that. I'll stand corrected if you find it.
I'm looking.
So, but again, does he get a big-ass
pontoon boat
gift card or something for making the hole? Is that like $100,000 gift card at Bass
Bass
Pro
Pro
Shops?
Shops? I don't know.
I'm sure Mr. Morris would get him a pontoon
That's
boat or
a-
something
yeah.
to have down in Pensacola. Yeah, because Joe lives
I
in
mean, you
Pensacola.
normally get a car or something like that, but every hole being a par 3, that would be questionable on the
I don't
insurance
know.
aspects.
What can you get for that? I don't know. That's
So-
a lot of beef jerky or camouflage. I don't know what you can. I don't know we can go there.
got-
I mean,
That's a
I
lot
love
of-
beef jerky, but
That's a lot of lures.
Yes, that's a lot of lures.
They got guns, too.
They got there you go. So you
boats.
can get an armory, I guess.
But hats off. Would you agree? Hats off to the
Sure.
Champions Tour.
Absolutely.
Hats off
Good for them.
to
Something
Bass
different.
Pro Shops for putting this on. And you sat and watched Nicholas and the others. They were having a blast. It was like the par 3 at Augusta. It was almost that format. They seemed to be getting tired. You could tell. It's quite hilly.
I'll say it's a hilly
A lot
up
of
and
elevation
down.
change.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but hats off. I look forward to the event next year. I thought it was real exciting. So, all right, we're going to jump from there, and let's go ahead and jump on to the big tour. Of course, the PGA Tour was in New Orleans, Louisiana, for the Zurich Classic. And again, as what really is the case for many, many years, each day is kind of up in the air as to whether they're going to get all 18 holes in, how long are they going to be delayed. You know you're going to be delayed, so you just wonder how much. And again, every day they had stoppage for rain, for electrical storms, whatever it may be. The week before last week while they were at Heritage, this golf course had got 9 inches of rain.
Yes.
And then now this week it's raining every day. And so the question has it among the other media outlets and some of the people tweeting this morning is, should this event been narrowed to 54 holes and kind of finish Saturday, if not Sunday morning, when they put a lot of golf on them yesterday, the final round. Some of these guys had to go out and play 36. Some of them had to play 27. Some of them had to play whatever. I know, bud. I know.
They didn't get
They're
repaired.
athletes. They
Yeah.
should be in shape. They should be able to play. The problem with this whole situation, George, and we said this a long time ago, put this tournament at the time of year when it is not your rainy season.
Yeah.
They play New Orleans, and it is a wonderful city. It's a wonderful golf course. I mean, we played English Turn. Now they're playing the TPC there. But put this to when it's not going to be pouring down rain in New Orleans. Springtime, early summer, it's going to flip and pour every afternoon.
Right.
Actually, you can set your clock by it. It's like every 2 to 4 o'clock every day.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, move the date. It's not going to hurt the tournament. People are going to New Orleans. I don't care if you played it in February. People go there because of the city and the food and everything else. get it in the right situation. The tour has that ability to move it and put it where they think it best fits, and it will help with the weather. Because there's never been a year to go there that it doesn't have this.
Now,
Right,
February could be interesting.
Yeah.
It might be a little different crowd in February, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, with Mardi Gras.
I agree. I agree. It could be a good little event.
But I mean, Zurich is one of the better "quote unquote" corporate sponsors for the PGA
No
Tour,
question
Hands
about
down.
it. No
and
question.
their support of the New Orleans market, even though, I mean, their corporate offices are in Chicago and things of that sort, but they really call New Orleans their home, I guess, because they spent so much time there with Katrina and
Yep.
and the other stuff. But again, they saw the strongest field this year I think they've had in years past. And then, of course, they end up seeing the highest-ranked player they've ever seen win the event in Justin Rose. And he just played phenomenal golf, guys. Birdie in 17 and 18 at that golf course, even in those, kind of lift, clean, and place conditions. But then again, too, I mean, the golf course was playing a little tough.
Not on those two shots either. Those were 15-footers he made on 17 and 18. I mean, those were
Good point.
good putts.
And imagine that golf course, because you saw the pitch shot that Justin Rose hit into 18.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought he hit it perfect. When he hit that little wedge shot out of the it's kind of wet. Now, yeah, it is. Lift, clean, and cheat. You got it in your hand. You can get the lie you want. I thought he hit the shot just like he wanted to. Like he caught it clean. He got in the air a little bit. That thing took such a hit and skip.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't lose the firmness in the greens. And he still had to make, a 12, 15-footer and what a great putt and a great stroke, a confident stroke. I mean, you look at Boo Weekley. If Boo doesn't pull the putt at 17, now we got a ball game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He had a heck of a shot in
Boo
there.
had a heck of a week.
Boo,
I mean, from
Boo's
day
starting
one to
play
day 4.
good again. I'm glad to see it. I mean, get him back up there with that personality. That helps me and you want to watch it a little more just because
Right,
it's one
it
of our
does.
boys kind of in there doing it. But,
Right.
To see him playing well. And Cameron Tringali, don't take anything away from that young man.
No.
I mean, he hit some quality
Well,
golf
this was
shots.
his last year to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is his backyard. He loves this golf course.
Mm-hmm.
So, and here he is back up at the leaderboard again this year. He just can't take it to the bank.
Well, it's
Sure.
called put yourself in that situation. You knock on the door long enough, it's going to open sooner or later.
Oh, sure.
You just got to
Phenomenal
keep
ball striker.
knocking
God, he
on
kills the
the
golf
door.
ball.
I mean, it's good. And I tell you, and George, I'm going to harp on it, and you can say, oh, yeah. But I'm telling you right now, you look at how Jason Day played the first 2 days, and that tempo, his golf swing is the best on tour by far. That's just my own opinion. But you cannot swing that hard and that fast and that quick and control your golf ball when the heat gets on. And you look at where he played from yesterday. I saw a lot of
Off the
water,
green.
and I saw a lot of trees where he was standing in.
Yep, off the green a lot too. I said that yesterday afternoon. Same thing, Hugh. He just looks like he just gives it 125% rip every time, every iron shot.
I mean, it's like Harry Hogg said on Days of Thunder. Loose is fast, but it's on the edge of out of control, and that's what he looks like when the heat gets on. He goes, it's out of control. Because if he doesn't get that casual water drop at 15, he has no way to make par.
Nope.
He
Nope.
gets the drop, the tree's out of his way. He did hit it left of the green, but then he gets it up and
Got it
down.
up and down.
I mean, you can't play golf that way.
Right.
You got to be able to change gears. And apparently, after watching him Augusta and leading up to Augusta and here, he's
Sure.
got one gear and it's high gear, and he got to
Right.
be on a downhill slope to get it started.
How about Daniel Berger? He's this kid's. It seems like he's around every weekend. We were talking about it the other day. I know his name now because of what he's done this year. This kid's
Right.
playing well. He's got some weird action. He's kind of cut a Sergio
His
DJ
swing's kind of weird. Yeah.
bowed wrist there,
Mm-hmm.
which I would think maybe if his plane's not right on, he's going to have a bad case of the left.
Right.
But he's there every week. It seems like every weekend he's on that last page. So good for him. He's still playing well.
But let's look at 17, Justin Rose, par 3, the line that he takes.
Right at just left of the flag.
He said he pulled it a little bit.
Yeah.
He was actually going at the stick. He because of the way the pairings were with the format and them trying to get everybody in and get them playing 72 holes, the leaders weren't paired together, which there's even been some comments today about they don't agree with that. The level of competition. David Duvall mentions it last night on Golf Channel about you want to see the leaders paired together. That way the level of competition raises with each of them. They're able to watch what their fellow, leaderboard guys are doing. But here's Justin, like 2-3 groups ahead of the leader at the start of the last
Right.
Well,
18.
he's done. Jason Day's on 15.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
So, and then he just takes aim at 17, pins back left over there by the water. He just goes straight at it, gets it on top of the ridge, leaves it about 10 foot away, and absolutely drains the
Drains the
putt,
putt.
where everybody else is playing fat part of the green, coming up short of the
Short
ridge,
right.
or they're either making it over the ridge and then it releasing to the back right side, and they have no chance for birdie.
Yeah, I never saw anyone as close as Justin that day. He
On
was right at it.
Sunday,
Yeah.
and it being the next to last hole.
Fire right at it.
And Justin, in his post-tournament interview, made the statement. He goes, I kind of figured I was up at the top, but I didn't know exactly where I was going to be, and I figured I had to birdie 17 and 18 and make a push. And he said, that's just exactly what I did. I could have easily aimed 30 feet right of the pin, but I didn't. I aimed at the pin and actually pulled it a little bit. So, but he hit a fade. So he said, I pulled it a little bit. It started left of my line, and it just happened to finish up 10 feet away. So, and then he had to make the putt, as you
Yep.
mentioned earlier.
Yep. He still made the putt, and he's rolling the rock very well. Obviously, we saw that at Augusta as well. He's rolling it very good, and if that man with his ball striking can start rolling the rock, then look out, folks. I hope he does start playing.
Does
well.
he now move up your pecking order this week for the match play?
I certainly think he's. Obviously he's a contender. He's obviously, he's a horse during the Ryder Cup and match play events. So he would certainly be in my top 4. Absolutely.
Let's talk about that real quick.
I don't know if I'd go there, just because it was such an emotional win and all the rain and the like George said, the 36 holes. And I think you got to look at who was there, who's not there, who kind of played okay, and watch to see if they – because I guarantee you these guys that were at the top, if they're in the match play, after going through walking in wet conditions, playing 27 to 36 holes, they're going to be some tired puppies. They're not going to be practicing.
I'm just going on form. The guys were playing well.
Yeah.
Justin, his last 2 starts, he's finished 2nd and 1. So that's why
I agree. I agree with you. I'm just saying look at it from the other perspective of it too, because –
Jeff, I'm going to take a little
Physically, they got to
liberty
be a
here.
little tired.
I'm gonna take a few minutes and let's do a snapshot of the match play.
Okay.
You guys will talk about it tomorrow on Fantasy Golf, no doubt about it. But let's take a little snapshot. We're going to TPC Harding Park, San Francisco. The weather is going to be, like you said, questionable every 10
unpredictable.
minutes. Every 10 minutes. Okay. The golf course is an older golf course, very small greens. They're going to be putting on, again, not the grains of grass that they're normally used to on the tour. You've got a little bit of pospalum in there. You've got probably several other strands. Who knows? So, again, it's San Francisco, and they're just looking to grow grass. So this is a municipal park, a state park, that they are bringing these major championships to. And so this is going to be a really, for TPC Harding Park, it has proven itself over the last couple of years. You got the weather pulled up. How does it look?
Actually looks pretty good. They Thursday and Friday in the 70s and Saturday and Sunday a little cloudy in the 60s. But
Wow.
that changes, as you said. The fog rolls in and it's a different different day.
It's 58.
They might as well be going to Palm Springs.
I mean, I know it's San Francisco, but it's 58 with 82% humidity.
That's chilly.
Well,
actually.
again, this is a limited field, guys, and one of the largest purses on the tour, $9.25 million is up for grabs. $9.25 million. The winner's share is going to be $1.57 million. Of course, you'll pick up 550 FedEx Cup points. And let's just kind of we know, and this news was released late last night. It's was confirmed this morning early via Twitter and some other comments made. Phil Mickelson has officially pulled out of the WGC Cadillac, and he has cited personal reasons. Whatever that is, who cares? He did make a comment in a statement that he very much enjoyed the new. He was looking forward to the new format. He thought the new format changes were good. and he was very much looking forward to going to TPC Harding Park. That he thoroughly thought that golf course was going to be just an absolute fun to play. But he personally regretted and hated that he was going to miss the event. So Phil's off the table now, and Mikko Ilinen gets in his spot. So there's a little bit of a marquee name drop there that Mikko, I don't think will push the ticket sales quite as much as Phil would. But again, kind of remind everybody, this is match play. And the event starts with round 1 on Wednesday, April the 29th. The opening ceremony is at 9:20. There will be 32 matches. So 64 players in 32 matches. And that will occur on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, you will likewise have another 32 matches. And there will be some other things going on during the day. On Friday, there will be, again, group play at 32 matches. And this is the change in the format, folks. It's not one and done anymore. So basically, every player is going to be playing 3 rounds of golf. And it's like Rory McIlroy stated in an interview this weekend, he likes the format because it's kind of hard flying out to San Francisco and being there for 18 holes of golf and then turn around and flying back home again.
Yeah.
So this at least gives them the opportunity, if they have a rough first round, then at least they've got some way of getting back into the mix. And maybe they pick up a win, second round, things of that sort. So basically, the way it works, they're going to each play 3 rounds. And then on Saturday, it goes to a round of 16, single elimination, 8 matches in the morning. And then there will be quarterfinals, single elimination, 4 matches in the afternoon. So that kind of narrows it down, of course, to Championship Sunday. The semifinal matches, there will be 2 matches in the morning. In other words, 4 players out for 18 holes. And then the consolation will be in the afternoon, along with the final, which will be 1 match for the consolation and 1 match for the final, and the champion to be determined. They'll actually tee off at 11:20 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So again, format, they're going to play for 3 days. Everybody plays for 3 days, so you get all the marquee names for 3 days. And, of course, that will bode well for ticket sales and all the other things. Let's look at some of the players real quick, Jimmy, and you can really pipe in on this. Being part of the fantasy golf family, is you got Paul Casey, who has played his way back into the World Golf Championship ranking points. Basically, 2 years ago, we didn't know if Paul Casey was still in the golf industry. So now we see him back in. He's played his way back in. Mm-hmm. You see the likes of Victor Dubuisson, who became so famous last year in his final match with Jason Day. And, of course, the desert antics that he pulled off, the trick shots that he pulled off out of several cactuses. Rocks,
several variety of
varieties.
Cacti, I guess.
Yeah, that would be it. We see the likes of the person that most disappointed me at Augusta, and that was Jason Duffner. I have never seen an individual stand on the hallowed grounds of Augusta National with more demise and distress and distraught than one Jason Duffner did while he was at Augusta. I almost wanted to personally go out and grab him by the earlobe and escort him off the property. He was that cynical. He was that sarcastic. And so he didn't win any points with a lot of people that were there to watch the professionals play Augusta National. So,
and I agree with you, George. You've got to go professional, but also you've got to respect the fact the poor guy's going through a divorce and the way things have happened with that divorce and whatnot. You know what?
Okay.
Give him a little bit of a leeway from the mental standpoint of what he's, I'm not making excuses. It's just not easy.
Well, I know. I've been through 5 of them.
Well,
so.
I understand. I know what you're talking about, but it's playing golf and playing in a high level and having distractions can create that situation. And I'm not making excuses.
We'll move on.
We'll give him a slight hall pass there.
We got Ricky Fowler. We got Jim Furyk, of course, Heritage winner. Jim took the week off, get his batteries recharged, I guess. So I think you got to watch out for Jim. Pretty strong.
I agree, 100%.
I got to throw a bone out to my boy Sergio Garcia. You know, I don't know. I don't know which Serge is going to show up, but he's at least in the field. You've got the Russell Henleys, the Charlie Hoffmans, the Miko Ilonen, as I mentioned earlier, Tonjai Jaidi, J.B. Holmes, Bill Haas. You know, you go on down the list. There are several quote-unquote new names, including Aniban Lahiri, who was
the
first.
Sam Hill is that?
That's the first Indian from Indian that played at Augusta.
Okay.
Remember? We talked about him during the Masters preview.
Okay.
Again, he's within the top 40 in the world. So he's made it to the WGC.
Good for him.
Congratulations to him.
Absolutely.
You got the likes of Chris Kirk, Brooks Koepka, which we all thought, guys, at the beginning part of the year, watch Brooks Koepka. This guy's going to do something. And all of a sudden, poof.
Well, he's fighting through that rib injury too, and that's not something to easily get over.
It's not.
Good
But
point.
I'll
Really,
tell
the
you
only way to
what,
do it is not play, and that's not going to help your game.
Tell you
any.
what, though, guy's got a good-looking golf game.
Whew, man, can he hit it a mile too?
How much credence do you put on Chunk and Dunk? Hunter Mahan. I had to bring it up.
No
Sorry,
point.
Jeff.
I'm telling you what, I like J.B. Holmes, and I like Charlie Hoffman in this.
J.B. Holmes, yeah.
I think J.B. Holmes has got the perfect game for the match play. I really do. I don't know what you think, Jimmy, because you're the expert, and you and Uncle Gene, y'all have that under control.
Professor Weldon and the golf guru.
In terms of the fantasy points guys, he would be on my radar, but I don't think he would be one of my first picks, at least in that group. But he is certainly, for Harding Park, yes,
And
absolutely.
looking at match play and the way he plays golf,
yeah,
that I don't
absolutely.
care. I'm going to give it a shot. If it works, great. If it
Fire at it,
doesn't, I can
yeah.
go at the next one.
yep.
I just think he's got that attitude, that mental capacity of way he thinks about golf that could surprise a lot of people.
You just brought up something, it being TPC Harding Park, and which is going to take your favorite guy and come off my list, and that's Bubba Watson. Just because it is Harding Park.
You know, I only pick Bubba during the majors.
Well, no, I didn't know that. But I learn something new every day.
I'm thinking, what about top 5? Patrick Reed.
I like that one.
He could be a C. He'd be a good. He's probably on the B list. I'm not sure
I think
where
he's
he
on
is.
the C list, actually.
Is he on the
Yeah.
C list?
Yeah, I think
He'd be a
so.
good C. He'd be a good C. What about Adam Scott, guys?
What about Adam Scott?
He hits it. He hits it awfully straight. He hits it awfully straight, and Harding Park's going to be a straight balls hitter.
I guess he's got the broomstick back, right?
Yeah,
The putter.
yeah.
I guess it just really comes down to the greens. Are they going to be
Right.
consistent enough for him?
And you know, there's a
Do you
bunch
look
of
at a
pros.
Jimmy? Do
Lot of Poana
you
in
look
those
at a
greens.
Jimmy Walker?
I do, because Jimmy is pretty much the West Coast king. He just plays
Great point.
awesome out there.
Great point.
He putts well on Poana greens, Pebble Beach every year.
That's why we were so surprised when Jimmy got the Florida win, because it was east of the Mississippi.
No kidding.
No.
Don't forget about Brant Snedeker, also putts well on Poana greens.
All the little pops are. Yeah. And that Poana gets up in the afternoon.
By the afternoons, that's
Yep.
right. Those afternoon matches, it'll get a little bumpy.
I think this is really, when you take the marquee names, there are several non-marquee names, and you have to throw into the mix here. There's no doubt about it. And then you've got the Zach Johnsons, you got the Jim Furyk's, you got the older guys, per se, the older guys that are just going to dink and dunk their way. Hey, there you go. Dink and dunk their way around this golf course.
Yeah.
And this golf course is built for dinking and dunking. It's not a bomber's paradise, although there's a couple of longer holes. It's not a bomber's paradise. You're going to have some very narrow fairways, and the rough can be quite penalizing, and then those trees aren't going anywhere.
Right.
And I think out there, those trees are more than 90% in air. They're probably 50% air and 50% trees because of the cover.
Well,
Right.
they're all
The canopies.
fir trees, basically. But, I mean, I don't know how you ignore Zach Johnson. I don't.
No, you can't. You can't.
On this kind of golf course?
You can't.
I don't-
It's a
I
dink
don't-
and dunk's paradise.
I wouldn't
So-
pick Sergio for all the tea in China because he doesn't know where it's going.
But dude, I'm like Jimmy. I got to support. Got to take care of the homeboy.
Yeah.
He's in the back of the mind on Sunday afternoon, going to be pulling for Bubba somewhere if Bubba's still around. So
in the men's or ladies tournament.
That's right. Either one. Jeff, appreciate your allowing us here to pop over into a little bit of fantasy golf, but it's the WGC Cadillac Match Play Championship is a lot of fun. Last year, it got huge ratings, and it was basic because this buddy calling this buddy saying, dude, go watch television. This Victor Dubuison's pulling off shots left and right, and none of the nine. Day can't put him away. And, I mean, it just really charged up this event as a title event
think it
on the
charged
tour.
up golf in general. I mean, it was fun to watch a guy coming out of the outhouse to the White House,
Wow. Okay.
You watch where he played from.
Write that down.
I mean, that's the outhouse to the White House. I mean, he was dead, and all of a sudden he's sitting in the catbird seat.
He never even knew there was fairways.
And
he never knew.
It was fun to watch. I mean, you just saw this guy hit these shots going, oh, my God. And he make the putt. And
even Jason Day was laughing. He was just like,
he's like, come
wow,
on, dude, seriously?
That's great.
What a classic shot it was. Yeah. He's crouched down behind his to-becoming putt.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there just kind of smiling, shaking his head, going, how did he just do that?
Like, how can I get rid of this guy?
He's like, I'm kind of pulling for him too now.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And it helped solidify this event, television-wise, at least.
And then the ratings.
And the press that match got on it in the days following.
Look at the name it made for him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's what put him on the map.
That's the only reason all of us know how to pronounce his name.
Exactly right.
Exactly. Wow. Okay, good. I'm glad we talked about it.
Moving
on.
I'm glad
we all agree about something.
Yeah, there's an unusual event. Well, another first for the weekend. All right, guys. Jimmy, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks
appreciate
for having
you popping
me, guys.
in.
I appreciate it. It was awesome.
HR, thanks, buddy.
Buddy, my pleasure, as always.
All right, guys. TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When visiting the Golf Director, be sure to check out our featured course pages, where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, and much, much more. Need help with your next golf vacation? Just call Dave. Give us a call, 844-GO-GOLF-1. That's 844-464-6531. All of our programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. To catch up on any show you may have missed, click on the radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1 billion devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Blueberry, and, of course, the Myrtle Beach Golf app. For Jimmy Biggs, Hugh Roy III, I'm George Honeycutt, and Jeff Behind the Glass. We want to thank you for tuning in and watching us here on TGD Today. There's more golf news and information coming up next.